What do you usually do with old rusty garden tools that look almost useless? Take these pruning shears, for example. Someone threw them away because they could barely cut anymore. The blades are dull, the surface is covered in rust, and every branch gets crushed instead of being cut cleanly. But before we spend money on a new pair, I'm going to try a simple sharpening method to see if this old tool can come back to life. If it works, it could save you money every gardening season. Welcome back to Dan Fix. I'm Dan. The shears bite into the sheet, but instead of slicing cleanly, they drag, wrinkle, and tear it. That tells us the tool has two problems: rust and a dull cutting edge. Use pliers to loosen the nut at the pivot. Keep your fingers away from the blade because even a dull tool can still cut skin. Once the nut comes off, separate the parts one by one: 2 blades, 1 bolt, 1 nut, and the spring. Place everything into a glass cup so no small part gets lost. Then pour Coca-Cola over the metal parts. The reaction starts almost immediately around the rusty areas. It may look strange to pour a drink over an old pair of shears, but stay with me. The reason will show up after the soak. After about 1 hour lift, the parts out and wipe them down. At first glance, they still look rough. That is normal. Coca-Cola does not magically restore steel by itself. It helps loosen light surface rust, but the real change appears when sandpaper touches the metal. Start with A240 sandpaper and rub along the blade surface. After a few passes, the orange rust begins to disappear and cleaner metal starts showing underneath. That is the answer to the Coca-Cola test. Its mild acidity helped weaken the rust layer so we can remove it with less effort. Work across the front of the blade, then the back, and clean the bolt nut and spring as well. This part takes patience. At home, most of us do not have professional rust removers sitting on a shelf, so a simple soak can make the cleaning step easier. But remember, clean metal does not mean sharp metal. We have removed most of the rust, but the cutting edge still needs work. Have you ever used Coca-Cola to loosen rust, or do you have another old-school trick that works better? For the sharpening stage, we need a simple tool that can reach the curved cutting edge. Take 1 wooden chopstick and 2 sheets of sandpaper, A400 for the first sharpening pass and P600 for the finer pass. Add a small line of super glue to the chopstick wrap, the A400 sandpaper tightly around it, and press it down firmly. Cut away the extra paper so the roll spins evenly. Make the second roll the same way with P600, or prepare the other end if your stick is long enough. This homemade sanding drum gives us better control on the curved blade than a flat block. Clamp the chopstick into a cordless drill. Before sharpening, put on safety glasses. Wet the sandpaper and the blade with water. Water keeps the grit from clogging, reduces metal dust, and helps control heat. Start with A400. Use low speed and light pressure. This step matters, so watch the angle closely. Pruning shears have a bevel already shaped into the blade. We do not want to invent a new angle. We want to follow the original bevel and bring that edge back. Turn the blade over and clean the backside lightly. Do not remove too much material from the flat back. These two blades need to meet closely when the shears close. If we grind the back too aggressively, the blades may stop touching properly and the shears will crush branches again. Once the A400 pass looks even, switch to P600. This grit does not remove metal as fast. It refines the rough scratches left by A400 and helps the cutting edge feel smoother. Keep the blade wet, keep the drill slow, and repeat the same movement from the handle end to the tip. At this stage, the blade should look different. The rusty surface has turned cleaner, and the bevel has a more consistent shine. That shine tells us the edge has a cleaner path to cut through stems instead of tearing them apart. Move from the handle end toward the tip, then lift the sanding drum and repeat the same pass. Do not grind back and forth in random directions. Clean, repeated strokes give the edge a more even shape. If you push too hard, the drum can dig in round the edge or leave deep marks. After several passes, stop and check the blade. You should see a brighter strip along the cutting bevel. That brighter strip tells us the abrasive is touching the right area. Keep going until the old dull edge looks more even from base to tip. Before reassembly, add one final polishing step. Apply a small amount of toothpaste along the blade. Toothpaste has fine polishing particles and it helps clean the tiny metal scratches left from sanding. For the rubbing piece, use a clean zinc strip from an old zinc carbon battery shell only if it is safe and not leaking. Do not open lithium batteries, swollen batteries, or any battery with corrosion or liquid inside. We are not trying to sharpen heavily here. This step cleans the surface and smooths fine sanding marks before the tool goes back together. Wipe the blade clean and bring back all the parts, the two blades, the bolt, the nut, and the spring. Slide the bolt through the pivot line up the blades and tighten the nut with pliers. Do not over-tighten it. The shear should open and close smoothly without feeling loose. Hook the spring back into position, then apply a light coat of WD-40 to the pivot and metal surfaces. Use only a thin layer. WD-40 helps push away moisture and makes the joint move more smoothly, but too much can make the handle slippery. Now let's return to the paper test from the beginning. Before the repair, these shears dragged and tore the sheet. This time, the blade catches immediately and cuts through cleanly. For a pruning tool, that is a strong sign the edge has come back. The rusty shears that someone threw away are useful again. We cleaned the rust, followed the original bevel, polished the edge, and protected the joint so it can move smoothly. If you found this useful, subscribe to Dan Fix, and tell me what rusty garden tool you want to restore next.